In the oven beside me right now is another batch of these fantastic little cookies coming out. These are Christmas cranberry and white chocolate oatmeal cookies. I mean, look at, there's Christmas colors. You got the white chocolate in there, you got the red from the cranberries, and the taste. Very nice. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. All right, get yourself some of these. Let's get in the kitchen and make some right now. Alright, to make our Christmas cranberry and white chocolate oatmeal cookies, here are the ingredients. Now what I've got here is the white chocolate. That is 6 ounces or 170 grams of white chocolate broken into pieces about 1/4 inch or 5-6 millimeters in size. Doesn't have to be exact, but try to keep them as small as possible like that. Over here I've got 1 cup of dried cranberries. Or again, that's about 6 ounces or 170 grams. You're buying it in a bag. Here I've got 3/4 of a cup of rolled oats. I never use the instant. This is the regular rolled oats. Over here I've got 1 cup of flour. I've got 3/4 of a cup of my favorite cane sugar, but any sugar will do. 1/2 cup of butter, and that is a cool butter. It's not at room temperature. It's cold, so we want to cream it. I've got 1 egg. I've got a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And then, just to add that extra little kick, 1 tablespoon of Kirsch or Kirschwasser, depending on where you're buying it, what the name for it is. It comes from Switzerland, but also from Austria, and I believe they also make it in Germany. It's made from cherries. It's a clear liqueur, and it just gives that extra kick to it. Now, you don't have to use this. If you're not going to use that in there, I would say cut back about a tablespoon on the flour and you can get about the same cookie, just without the alcoholic kick. All right, so let's start putting this all together. First thing we want to do, we want to take that flour and we want to mix the baking powder into there. So take that, and I'm just going to use a fork here just to kind of distribute it throughout the flour. All right, and then we can just set that aside. All right, so that's done. Flour can be set aside. Next, I've got the large bowl here. I'm going to put the butter in there. We're going to cream that butter. So my favorite wooden spoon. And then just use a bit of elbow grease. Squish that butter down. Now this butter doesn't have to be like freezing cold, but you don't want it where it's soft either. So I usually keep it in a cold room, and then that's just the perfect temperature. So just kind of smearing that out. You see there, I'm just smearing that across. And then what I'm going to do, let's get these things out of the way for right now, is going to mix in that sugar. So I want to cream the sugar into the butter. So again, just using a bit of elbow grease. And what this does is it tears holes in the butter, which gives extra aeration to your cookies. So it's quite an important step, actually. That's why you don't want melted butter or anything like that. All right, that's taking about a minute and a little bit of elbow grease. But what we have now is the sugar has been creamed into the butter, and we are ready for the next step, which is we're going to add in that egg. Add in the vanilla, the salt, and that Kirsch. There we go. I love Kirsch, but it's something that you don't want to drink too often. It is really powerful stuff. I one time drank too much of it in Switzerland, having it every night while I was visiting there, and actually burnt my esophagus. So be careful with it, drinking it. Great in baking though. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the mixer. I'm going to mix this for about 2 minutes or so. Just I want to get this nicely combined and smooth. All right. All right. That's been about 2 minutes. You can see it's quite nice and smooth in there. I'm just going to zap some of that off there. Okay. So, now we've got that all nice and smooth. What we're gonna do now is that flour and baking powder mix is gonna go in here. And on my on my front here too. All right. All I do now is just mix that in. What I usually do is just kind of give it a cutting motion to go through here and get that flour mixed in. All right, now you can see all the flour has been absorbed into the butter and etc. mix. So now what I want to do is I want to add the oatmeal. I want to add the cranberries and the white chocolate. And this is going to take a little bit of work. You've got to mix and mix. You can basically use a cutting motion just to get it all mixed in, and you want it to get incorporated into that cookie batter. Get back in here. So what you want it to do is you want to keep mixing until you don't see any pieces of cranberry or chocolate just floating around loose. They should all be pulled into the batter. So this takes a little bit of, again, a bit of elbow grease and a bit of cutting motion, and you can get this done. All right, that's all looking good. It's nicely incorporated in there. Just kind of clean off that leftovers here. And now we're ready to form the cookies. So what I've got over here is I have a baking tray with the paper, kitchen paper on there, or baking paper. I actually shot a video about this, so really this is what I've been using a lot. Check out the video, it's on the Patreon feed. That oven has just come ready. That has been preheating at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. And these are going to go in there for about 10-11 minutes. All right, let's start making the cookies. What I like to use for the cookies is, I've been using lately a lot, is this little ice cream scoop that I got my hands on. It's fantastic. And you can just do this with a spoon, but with the ice cream scoop, you just kind of plop a little ball on there. And let's do another one. Look at those. It's actually just about a little bit big for these cookies, maybe. Yeah, not bad. Sometimes I make these cookies a little smaller, and especially when I'm going hiking, the big cookies break apart too much, so we can do a little smaller. But these aren't bad at all. So let's do that here. These are not going hiking with me. All right. All right, now that I've got them on the sheet here, and these are a little bit big, but let's just play with them. Squish them down a bit. I can squish them down a bit with a fork, kind of get a nice shape to them. They're going to hold their shape pretty good. They will flatten out just a little bit, but not much. So take them down about half an inch, 12 millimeters. All right, so that's the first batch. It's going to go in the oven right now for about 10-11 minutes. I'm going to check it at 10. My oven always goes a little bit hotter. What I want to look for is I want to see a little bit of just starting to get golden brown around the edges. And usually you'll see little pores, dry pores, like staying open in the batter itself. So let's get these in the oven and have a look at it when they come out. All right, so here's our first batch of Christmas cranberry and white chocolate oatmeal cookies. They just come out of the oven. They've been in there for about 10 minutes. Now, as you can see, a little bit of golden happening around the edges. That's absolutely perfect. And if we look on top, we see that there's little pores in some places. Little pores. The pores are dry. That means they haven't closed back in again. So that's perfect. These cookies are ready to go. I'm gonna let them sit here on this on the tray for like about 2 minutes. Just cool down a little bit because right now they're too soft to move. And then move them to cooling racks. But let them sit for about 2 minutes, otherwise they're just going to crumble on you when you go to pick them up. All right, so enjoy these Christmas cranberry and white chocolate oatmeal cookies. They are delicious. Now if you go to the link appearing on the screen and also clickable in this video's description, you can download and print out this recipe from the Dessert Recipes booklet on Kuma's Kitchen's Patreon page. Just click the featured tag called recipes. Now, go print out the recipe and enjoy Christmas cranberry and white chocolate oatmeal cookies. And make cooking fun again with Kuma's Kitchen.